And we're live.
30 seconds of silence is kind of awkward, man.
Awkward
you don't realize
silences.
how... No, you do. You don't realize how long it is until you got to go. You're just like, all right.
Nice. Wow, chat's jumping already. Yes. So sorry, a day early. so Chris is going to be
like 5 days late.
Yeah, right. We were there 5 days. Yeah, we're 6 days
Math,
late.
not my strong suit.
But actually, we're only a few hours early Japan time. If it's Thursday night that we do this, we're a few hours away. Yeah. So Chris is going to be out of town, and we got kind of not yet. Golden Week's coming up. Next week. Yeah, that's right.
It's a weird Golden Week this week.
Yeah.
This year. Yeah.
So nice. Well, hey Andrew, how's it going? And Matt's there.
Arturo's that's where the screen
is. Yeah, we gotta put that right above. Yeah, I should put that. Actually, I should put that over here.
But then we'll all have to like look up and go, oh.
Yeah, it's either creepy. You're kind of slightly looking up or looking to the side. And Calarian, of course, first in. Yeah, thanks for catching the early day early stream. I'm having trouble here. And,
you all right? Am I gonna have to like end the stream by calling 119?
Yeah, stroking out over here. But
let me know if you smell burnt toast, or is it maple syrup, or both?
Or both. Oh yeah, that sounds good. So what have you been up to game wise? Any shenanigans?
Shenanigans? No. Still plugging along on tiny little Romans.
Oh, nice.
I realized I bought the wrong goddamn elephants.
Oh, it's the wrong elephant.
It's the wrong elephant, right? No, that's fine. Apparently, through what little research I'd done, right? Okay, like, it gets pretty complicated. You know, they actually, like, used a species of elephants to extinction.
Oh, wow.
For feeling like war elephants between all the nations that had them. Anyway, I think for that era and that region, okay, you got Asian African elephants and, like, forest African elephants. Asian and Syrian elephants were vastly preferred because they were bigger and could carry the towers, like the smaller forest elephants couldn't. And the thing is, I got slammed by that ambulance. Anyway, I want the elephants with towers on them. Those are like the Indian style.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, people are like, not that you're going to be able to see it. I'm like, yeah, I could just kind of go, but yeah. And someone else pointed out, like, well, when you're already buying the African elephants, why don't you just toss in enough models to make it like a Ptolemaic Egyptian? And it was like, anyway, I'm going to do that anyway. But yeah, that's right. I got one base left to paint, and then the Romans are done. And then it's like a whole bunch of Gauls.
Yeah, nice. I guess that's the only problem with historical wargaming is you get a lot of, well, actually.
See, that's why you do 2mm scale, because you're like, they're smaller than a grain of rice, bro. And actually, we're just saying that. Like, I was looking, I'm like, okay, well, I did like Marian Roman, which is like up to like 100 BC. Then I'm like, you can't tell the difference between stuff. Like, all I gotta do is buy a couple more units, and I can go all the way up to like 400 AD, because no one's gonna go, those are the Roman legionaries. I'm like, bro, they're little dots with red shields.
Right.
So yeah, 2mm scale, can't beat it. You also can't see it.
For historical accuracy, yes. Go as small as possible. Nice. Yeah, so still nothing. We're doing Fallout day after tomorrow. We'll do some more Fallout. Yeah, and that's actually getting a lot of views, I guess. Like,
oh, nice.
People are just like coming upon it. But I think there's a pretty active Fallout RPG community, because there's a whole Discord, and there's of course boards on the Multiverse website and stuff for it. So yeah, people are kind of actively finding it, which is surprising. I wouldn't have. We just did it because we had the really nice assets for Alchemy, and we'd played 2D20 before. But yeah, I'm surprised it has a bit of a following. I wouldn't have expected that. That was a little surprising.
Like
but
Matt said, the Alps killed a lot of elephants.
Yes, but so we'll get back to that, and we got Matt's Indie Heat 2 has got to be coming up soon. Yeah, I have a feeling he's been working on that. So we'll get back to the 80s and our fish out of water cops with cowboy hats in Indiana. We'll be back after it. But cool. So yeah, we've got a little bit. So I trimmed one of the usual stories out because we're going to probably have this continuous feature at the beginning of every podcast, because
I can guess what it is.
So we'll keep that going.
Can we change it to like Chris's historical hour?
Oh yeah, we can. Yeah. How to not go cross-eyed painting 2mm.
I don't have a solution to that.
Nice. But yeah, yeah, I'm trying to build some infinity lists, and that's about it, and keep because it's all super glue. I keep looking at the little baggies of miniatures, going, oh yeah, the metal miniatures. Gotta put those together.
I think
what was that?
I think one thing is I have something similar where like you buy like a 2 million. I'm like, here's all the blocks, and you're just like, oh man, you got like a bag of them. I think only looking at a subset of them at a time kind of helps manage that feeling. Otherwise, you're just oh, look at this mountain. Yeah, no, you're just like, nope, let me just work on this little section. Right?
Yeah, that's right. If I just picked a model or two, it's like, let's get started with these. But I'm looking at everything going, oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. Like I did the same thing. Like I laid it all out, and I'm like, oh, because this would have to build like 4 armies. And I'm like, nope, okay, let's put everything away except for one. And it's just like 20 bases.
Nice. Yeah. I got to figure out. I was looking at some different basing materials and stuff because I kind of just by faction try to base things the same so they're more recognizable.
Coffee grounds.
Yeah, and with Infinity too, you need your Arc of Fire. So I got to figure out a way. If you don't buy their bases, the more recent bases have those. Okay, the kind of scenic bases have that marked on them. But I'll have to do it.
You're just like. You tell me you're busting out like a protractor to measure the angle.
No, they're slotted bases, so it makes it a little easier because they're already. I'm assuming that the slot is kind of in the middle, so I'm using that as the to do the arc because it's always 180.
Okay, that's me. But I couldn't imagine if it was something like 37 degrees. I couldn't imagine if like the firing arc was different for every model. That would be a disaster.
Yeah, the only time it's ever different is if they have a 360 visor, and that's usually just the mech suits. Right. So then you can either put something all the way around or not put anything else, and it means the same thing. Yeah. All right, well, let's get started for this week. So thanks everybody for finding us a day early. Welcome to the Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the Weekly, we start with...
Yes. That was you with all the Benjamins.
That was me. That was me counting. Yeah, how much money I was buying those stupid assets for. But yes, that is more Tales of the Trade Wars. So there's been some developments, and nothing good. Yeah. But all of this is still hypothetical because the one weird thing about tariffs is you don't know if they're imposed until you get the bill at the port. Like, cool. It's like, like paying your taxes. You don't know until the IRS says, excuse me, you didn't file this.
Or like when you order something from overseas, you're just like, what? I got to pay additional money?
What? Yeah. So let's start with Stonemaier Games. So the publishers of the Wingspan. So wargamer.com talked to them, and they are joining a lawsuit against Trump and the tariffs, saying, do you have the authority to do this? You are fucking us over big time. So a quote from Stonemaier. So they did a blog post April 21st. We are joining a lawsuit that will challenge the unchecked authority of the executive branch to impose tariffs. So publisher Wingspan, Scythe, and their new game Vantage, they are facing upcoming payments of nearly $1.5 million potentially, because they've have a series like Wingspan has become this like franchise.
Wormspan, there's Finspan.
Yeah. So every possible thing that you can identify, you will have a span. So they are going to be dealing with it, calling it. So Jamey Stegmaier, the president of Stonemaier Games, is calling it devastating. And is saying to the gaming community, I stand with you. I'd much rather focus on making games and serving customers, but I hope that the lawsuit can make a positive difference for everyone in the tabletop community and the industry. So officially, the tariffs were set to go into effect for 105%, but have since risen to 145%, and now we've heard 2 something, and it just keeps making
funny
up
numbers that just don't exist, except in like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Right. And so another quote from Stonemaier, we started print runs of products before the president took office, and now we are faced with an unprecedented $14.50 tariff on every $10 we spend on manufacturing with our trusted long-term partner in China.
That's the other thing. I'm sure people are talking about it, but companies have like a relationship with these manufacturers /printers, and this is just going to ruin relationships when people go, sorry, I can't do this, or we got to take our business elsewhere, or yeah.
No, that's definitely they're really, and what we talked about last week too is that it's destroying the business of these export only based Chinese manufacturers, because there's no domestic market for them to split. It's already taken. So
I'm seeing the downside of globalization.
Really, is it finally hits you?
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, right? I think we might go very different ways, right? It would be like, let's how about we just abolish all borders? Anyway, sorry.
Whoa.
Sorry,
it's getting weird around here. All right, but yes. So Stonemaier Games is going to file a lawsuit, and hopefully, what that will do is, I mean, they're not going to win a lawsuit against the United States government. They're not going to get a judgment in their favor. What they're probably going to do is get a judge to stop, put a stop on things and kind of pause until things get resolved, or until there's some sanity brought. It's like some kind of injunction or something to say, okay, look, nobody's going to get charged anything until we do determine if this is even legal.
Right.
But that's not going to stop companies from going completely out of business.
Yeah.
So Final Frontier Games and Greater Than Games have announced staff layoffs and closures.
Yeah, I think I saw the announcement that Greater Than Games is just kind of done.
Yeah. So and it may have been that they were kind of on the edge, and this is just the nail in the coffin, the killing blow for somebody that was maybe coming out of the pandemic and not doing great, or whatever the reasons were. Yeah, it's over. So Stonemaier goes on to say, we will not stand idly by while our livelihoods and the livelihoods of thousands of small business owners and contractors in the U.S., along with the customers whose pursuit of happiness we hold dear, are treated like pawns in a political game. I can see him at a podium pounding his fist with an American flag, but no, maybe not. Maybe another flag behind him. Maybe a Chinese contractor flag. And so I will try to lead with compassion. And is he running for office? And compassion and empathy. So legal action is very low on my list of ways to handle difficult situations. The post goes on, but with the new norm of 145% imposed by all exports, including products that have been in the manufacturing process for months, we are compelled to take action. So they'll post an update at the end of this week, kind of detailing what's going on. They're trying to get as many clients on the case, so kind of class action wise, at least get so that they know that they're serious, even though all of these companies together aren't even going to be an apple wet fart. But anyhow, let's get some attention on this. So unfortunately, there are situations where if they're going to have to, if it's a wait and see thing, they're just going to have to store already produced products in Chinese warehouses, kind of balancing the tariffs against the rental fees. And but they're doing that in hopes that the tariffs will decrease by the time we need the inventory to replenish our supply in the U.S. So they're just going to hold as is and sell everything, everything they have on hand in the U.S. right now. But we'll see. And they've also promised in the update to eat most of the tariff costs if possible. So they're going to, try to get through this and not punish the customer. Other companies are saying we can't. We have to pass this on.
Well, it's nice they're in a position to
do
that for as long as possible.
Their success, that's true. Yes. So there may be a slight price increase in the U.S. Once they release things and find out. But as far as they've said so far, they're just going to eat it. So I'll link to the whole statement that they put on the Stonemaier website. But as we mentioned, Greater Than Games is actually a fatality. So they've laid off staff and suspended operations. And we also heard, we talked about last week, Stonemaier Games is stuck with their second edition of Gloomhaven in storage. Just a considerable amount of their inventory is just waiting to get. They're wait and see. So as the global tariff situation remains volatile, they're going to hang out there. And then we also the Greater Than Games, that means that Sentinels of the Multiverse, which I think was. They had a crowdfunder that was funding an RPG, or a new version of the RPG. So that isn't even finished in production. Right. So that might cause a lot of problems for backers. They're just never going to see that completed because the company is done. So a representative from the company of Greater Than said, we've undergone a staff reduction in response to the ongoing economic pressures resulting from international tariffs. And they will stay up with the in-stock products available to order. So everything they have on hand, they'll still sell. But Daryl Lauder of Greater Than said his team has been disbanded, and that Flat River Group has shuttered Greater Than Games, so they're not moving forward with anything right now. I guess the retail part of it is still going to try to supply stuff, and then we heard from Cephalofair last time, and also that's right. Greater Than Games also does Spirit Island, a really fun board game. So that's a shame if that if that just disappears, because that was getting expansions and things. So the Kickstarter add-ons for the Sentinels RPG are unfulfilled and unfinished, and so they were all due this year, so that's kind of just cutting them right off at the worst possible time. But Chris and Adam, the owners, owners of Spirit Island, are confident that they retain the rights to their game. So Greater Than Games was a publisher for them. Right. And they do have plans to go forward if that works. And then Handelabra Games, who's doing Sentinels card game, says their licensing agreement is still in effect, so they plan to continue. So it's just that RPG that's really going to get hurt by that. So that's what we've heard so far. So hopefully this lawsuit will at least get some attention, and at least, I don't know, maybe they can get somebody on board that will be a voice to. Let's put a pause on this and figure out who this is going to hurt, and
it's going to hurt the people.
It's going to hurt everybody.
It's going to hurt everybody. And then, the people who still have with money, they're just going to buy up everything at pennies for the dollar. Anyway,
yes.
Sorry. Okay.
Yes. So that's our latest update for the trade wars, the terrifying tariffs of the tales of the trade wars, and now back to our regularly scheduled topics of this week. So this week on the weekly, deep cuts. For Blades in the Dark, now in print, or soon in print. Mm-hmm. Heroes of Might and Magic is getting a tabletop RPG. Okay. And what the fuck, Kickstarter? That might be a new ongoing series. Oh, jeez. But Kickstarter is
but like tariffs and
is being stupid. So let's find out what that's about. But first, Evil Hat has announced crowdfunding plans for the Blades in the Dark expansion, and so the John Harper and that was great. Just as a digital PDF, just on itch.io, said here it is. We're playing around with this, and here it is. And I guess eventually there's enough of a demand, enough of an outcry. We want a physical book that they're going to crowdfunding. So Blades in the Dark had gotten an expansion already in digital form. This is going to be the physical version. And of course, Blades in the Dark has iterations of Scum and Villainy, Grow by Moonlight, and Slug Blaster. There's a few more, too.
Yeah, there's more than that.
A lot more. And so on May 20th, you're going to get your chance to pledge for a physical copy of the book. And so Deep Cuts features new factions, backgrounds, and technology, new rules for campaign-defining events called catalysts. Okay. And Harper was kind of comparing this when he first released Deep Cuts to kind of a director's cut, like refinement and things he wanted to include in the first version, and probably learned through playing. Yeah. And so you will be lucky enough to get a physical copy and adventure in the city of Duskfall. So 27 factions you're going to get, new lore and career opportunities, 100 heritage and background packages, 13 new innovative technologies, new and rare restricted technologies for the nefarious scoundrels, and then the big change, or the big addition, Catalyst. So world-shaking events that expand and alter the setting, providing new venues of intrigue and adventure. Oh. So they're doing some of the new things that they're doing in the rules are new and flexible, impactful harm and trauma rules, modified advancement system to customize the rate your character progresses, new diceless downtime system that helps you manage vice, healing, crew development, debt, and more, a modified approach to load, keeping things streamlined while tied into the fiction, and an alternative action system that empowers players even more and speeds up play.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So they promise also that this print edition will be a stylish quality treatment that you've come to expect from Evil Hat, so it'll sit proudly next to your other editions and or other volumes, and that's on BackerKit. What was that, May 20th? Yeah, so
not on Kickstarter.
Not on Kickstarter, yes.
I hope.
But I think on Kickstarter, coming to Kickstarter, we have another game. This was a little bit surprising, and I'm curious your history with this, if any. Heroes of Might and Magic is getting a TTRPG, so the story you always imagined in your head as a kid is going to be able to, you'll play that on the tabletop. It's epic. It's ruthless. No.
I'm thinking about
Ring a
something
bell?
else. I'm
Ring a
thinking of like an arcade side scroller. But anyway, okay.
Yeah. So Heroes of Might and Magic is a franchise. I've had a couple of friends that worked on the PC versions of this and did art, and it's just kind of that kind of overhead art that they do. So they're getting a physical role play system. So you're going to be in the plate armored boots of a commander leading armies into war. So the world of Enroth, the setting for the first three Might and Magic, Heroes of Might and Magic games, is going to be the setting for this tabletop. Relive those epic and memorable moments from the game, and so this is going to start with the restoration of Erathia and the crusade of the Queen Catherine Iron Fist to restore her kingdom and uncover a conspiracy. So very narrative kind of based. So
I must not have ever played this game, but Heroes of Might and Magic sounds like a StarCraft-esque kind of like RTS.
No,
because I was seeing stuff for like. Okay, I'm jumping ahead. But I've seen the description for like and units, and I'm like.
Yeah, well, it was more. Yeah, it wasn't not quite RTS because you weren't.
Maybe I'm thinking of the CRPG version.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just called Might and Magic. Yeah, that's right. Because there's been a lot of iterations. They've kind of this franchise has kind of remained around. Yeah. So that might be what you have in mind. But this is going to be published by Multiverse, so it's a high fantasy, the first high fantasy setting for the 2D20 system.
Okay.
So play as legendary heroes who call upon the nation's resources to overcome threats arrayed against you, engage in daring assaults in the desperate last stands, and lead formidable armies into the world shaped by your actions. So they may be doing that kind of multiple scales too, where you're doing like army scale and then individual characters.
If this is Multiverse, then I'm a bit more interested, right? Because Dune did that multi-level thing, right?
Right.
And it would be interesting to see that in like a high fantasy system.
Yeah, so right now there's a free Kickstarter. I'll put a link to that. You can get the PDF and take a look at what they're doing with this. And in the Kickstarter, there's a description of the sample nations, character classes and units, a selection of ready-to-play heroes, an introductory scenario, the Crewlod Frontier, and all the rules to play through the scenario, including your first battle. So look for this on Kickstarter, May 6th. So coming up pretty soon next week. Yeah, but so if you have any love, any fond remembrance of the old games, this might be a fun way to revisit that and kind of see what else the 2D20 system can do, because they're sure making it do a lot. And so Multiverse, and there's a different it's in cooperation. I don't have this. I thought I had it from the Kickstarter, but it's in cooperation with another publisher, not publisher, another studio that's working on it. So I think they came up with it, and Multiverse is kind of is putting it out. So they're licensed. It's a completely licensed, like fully licensed version of this. And Multiverse will be releasing it. But yes, we mentioned Kickstarter, the K word. We're gonna have to start calling it. So Kickstarter. This isn't tabletop related, but this is crowdfunding related, and it's a weird one. Okay. Kickstarter suspends Don Simpson's Megaton Man over the Iranian artist listed in the artist's description.
Sorry, what?
So this artist, Milo Trent, is a person living, I don't know if he is even of Iranian descent, but he's currently residing in Iran.
Okay.
And he created 4 pages for this graphic comics anthology that Don Simpson is releasing based on his Megaton Man character. And Kickstarter said, we see interesting, you have an Iranian artist. Well, cancel your campaign. Really? So in that transparent and of course, very full explanation of all of their motives way, Kickstarter said nothing and did nothing to let them know what was going on. So the page is now, the campaign is now canceled. So Iranian artist Milo Trent's involvement, who he's been involved in multiple other projects that this artist and other artists working have done, has made Don Simpson now scramble for alternative crowdfunding solutions. So and they're also they're very kind of vague decision, and it makes them question. So what is your policy then against Iranian contributors? Right. What exactly is going on? So Don Simpson is a long-running kind of self-published indie comics creator who did his parody Megaton Man, Border Worlds, King Kong, and Bizarre Heroes Pictopia in 1963. So this was going to be a 200 page, or will still be. It's getting crowdfunded somewhere else. 200 plus pages of Megaton Man, the multi-mentions graphic anthology, originally published through Cosmic Lion. So Milo Trent, who lives in Iran and has already worked on Simpsons, worked with Simpsons before, including his 1963 book. And this is a quote from Simpson himself. Last night, the Kickstarter suspended the launch of our campaign. Oh, sorry, I didn't even launch it. For Megaton Man, Multi-Dimensions, 214-page treasury anthology of 60 contributors, flagging it for safety and trust because one of our contributors happens to live in Iran. I am not groveling to Kickstarter or its algorithm. Kickstarter is not a co-editor or creative consultant on this project. Milo Trent is on the cover of the book and has 4 brilliant pages in the 214, and I'm not removing them. I've spent all of 2024 part of it living on savings to shepherd this project and what was left that was left for dead, turning it into an anthology of contemporary world-class cartoonists of which we can all be proud. Kickstarter needs to explain to me why I would still want to work with them or trust them. Kickstarter is censoring this project, and every creative artist contemplating working with them, filmmakers, comic book publishers, or otherwise, need to understand this. Among Kickstarter's concern was the question, what was your engagement with individuals in Iran? What is your engagement with individuals in Iran, if any? Presumably they can't read, because it's pretty clear that from the FAQ that one of our contributors happens to live in the confines of that nation. Right. So yeah, they've
so Kickstarter basically directly said, okay, I don't know if they directly said, but it's implied that that's the reason this is being canceled.
Yes, yeah, they said that. Yeah, what is your relationship? That was the question they asked, and they said, well, that violates our safety and trust. So they've tried to liaison with Kickstarter, and they have not gotten any response, and further inquiries did not shed any light on their reasoning, which presumably was non-existent. So needless to say, there's been no warning beforehand that the nation of origin of the cartoonist would be a non-starter. There are no instructions whatsoever about how we might improve our project to better meet Kickstarter's requirements or rules. And as the publisher subsequently remarked, our biggest fault was being proud of our diverse world-spanning creative team. So yeah, that really sucks. And then there's a lot of other quotes from artists that have worked on the project and worked with the artist in question. So it's very suspicious that this even became a thing. So so I mean,
I'm certainly not saying it's right, but I mean, this is, I don't have anything similar, but like this is kind of the problem of being beholden to someone else's platform.
Yeah.
Right? Like, sorry, they get to set the rules.
Mm-hmm.
You're agreeing to play by their rules when you join and use their platform, but then that means you're beholden to whatever kind of bullshit they put out. And the only thing you can do is what is being done. Pull your thing, make a big stink, and go somewhere else. And then eventually, if the idea is if enough people make a big enough stink, the platform either goes under, and then, well, it sucks to be you should have done that, or they change their policy.
Right. But yeah, that's a long, could be a long process. But it's strange with all of these online platforms. I think like PayPal, like a payment platform, YouTube, for video, when they make these decisions, they just say terms and conditions, and that's all they say. They don't, sometimes they don't even point specifically. They just say, you have violated our terms, delete, cancel, ban.
Well, then it's on you to figure out what
is it?
Yeah.
How do you do that? It's like, so that's the problem, is like there's no transparency. So, and that would help if there seriously is a problem. If America isn't planning on attacking the country of Iran, then obviously maybe that's the reason. If we're soon going to be embroiled in a war in the Middle East, they're tipping their hand about that. So the CIA is telling Kickstarter. Well, anyhow, but to give no instruction for other people to even know like what they're navigating or what exactly is appropriate here, or what their standard is.
Well, as a parent, we're both parents.
It's a parent.
As a parent, think about this: like when you give rules to your kid, or when you say you can or can't do something. If you give a rule or like the reason, the next time they do something, they're like, "Well, I was following the rules, right?" And then you're like, oh, "Right." So I'm saying all that because
it's children on Kickstarter.
No. I'm saying all that because, right, like not providing the reason and they're saying, sorry, terms and conditions, go check it, allows them to make any arbitrary decision they want, right? And they say, why did you do this? Well, just because.
Right. It's like morals clauses in contracts. Right.
Sorry, your product doesn't follow our terms and conditions. Why? It just doesn't.
Right.
Go figure it out yourself, right? And it allows them to say, no. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
giving a reason and explaining why.
And that would show where their allegiances and, whatever, or what they're tied to and who they're beholden to. So we don't exactly know, like, who is, one of their shareholders or whoever is upset about this. So, this was all posted on Bleeding Cool, so you can read the whole statement from Simpson. And it's just a shame. I mean, somebody that's been an independent comic producer is trying to get this project out that's been sitting, that's been sitting waiting to get finished, got a bunch of artists together, and then for the reason of where one of these artists is residing, they're like, well, obviously we can't have this now, can we?
Or there's some kind of like AI nonsense.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying that is the case. I mean, it could be some kind of like, okay, but why did it get to review?
Just a filter, because they mentioned something in a Kickstarter and it got crawled by their little bot or whatever they used to moderate Kickstarter. But they should have at least had a human confirm what's going on.
That costs money, Jeremy.
Yeah, right.
And money going out. Shareholders.
They only get a measly 10%, 30%, whatever Kickstarter gets. Yeah, so not good. And so Kickstarter continues to prove that they're
not the best.
They're not for the little guy. They have no problem if you've got multi-million-dollar. I'm sure you can be from Iran, and as long as you raise over $4 million on their platform, they got no problem with you. But I'm sure this wasn't a project of that size. So seems very arbitrary. They're not giving us any clue about why or what they're doing. So not good, Kickstarter. Don't do that. so think twice.
Unless we come up with like $4 million, they're not going to listen to us.
Right. So support your game founds and your backer kits if at all possible. So so that'll do it for this week. So where can people find you?
Blue Sky mostly, and Instagram too, and select Facebook groups. It's Hivemind, HYVEMYND, where it's going to be more 2mm miniatures all the time.
All the time, nice.
All the time. I think I might just swap over to 2mm like permanently. I don't know. Nice. I'll have to find something to do with all those like that big order of 6mm lights I just arrived the other day, right?
That decadent 300%
the giant,
bigger.
The giant coarse scale of 6mm, right?
Nice.
Yeah. So how about you?
All right. So people can find me drawing my single panel gag cartoon occasionally once a month on Abuse Cartoons. So Abuse Cartoons on YouTube and Twitch. You can read the cartoon on GoComics, so gocomics.com/domestic abuse. And that the archive of 20 years of cartoons is there. And if you like what we're doing on the weekly, consider becoming a weekling.
The strongest of all supporters.
You can do that at patreon.com/upturntable. And there you can let us know what you'd like to see more of on the weekly, on the channel in general.
Give us more, and you can tell us what you want to see less of.
Right. And it's Upturned Table on all social media. Upturntable.com is the main website. I've been playing around a little bit, getting things straightened out. I realized some of the older Outer Red Hands stuff, at least like the first 10 episodes were broken, and I was listening to those like for sound quality and everything. It was a lot of bickering. It's like a bicker cast because it's a room full of guys going, So you can see the early origins of how this all got started and what inspired me to like get involved. Like
bickering.
The bickering. No, but the interesting topics, like the kind of evergreen topics of RPGs, monsters and character types and settings and how to deal with certain topics. It's good stuff. So take a look at that on upturntable.com. The whole archive is up there.
Oh wow.
And so that'll do it for this week. We'll be back again next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye.
The button didn't work.
Not working. right. So none of my buttons are working this week. So that was the clumsy transition. So how is everybody doing? Uh-oh. Is the everything working? Oh, there we go. There we go. So, yeah, a bit suspicious that for that last story that Iran was the reason, or an Iranian artist. I wonder how is the U.S. getting ready to do something? Yeah, not fun. But yeah, good to see everybody in the chat. Let's see if the combined chat is actually working. Nice. Matt's asking, a 2 millimeter elephant, 4 millimeters then? Yes. Yeah, very funny. That's right. Yeah, Heroes. Yeah, Heroes was more of the turn-based RTS, and then 4x4. Yeah, 4X without deep systems. Right. Yes, it's been a while. I've seen, you see those drifting around in like Steam sales and stuff. The old PC games. Matt's played Wingspan. But have you played Wormspan or Finspan? Or there's all kinds of spans coming. Yeah, but the all of this stuff is pretty dreadful. And yeah, the frustrating thing is, if it's just posturing or whatever to renegotiate, relationships, trade relationships, why are they? They're closing. There's companies that are just closing. They're just like, okay, we can't even a hypothetical insane tariff is enough to just shut us down. Yeah, not good. Yes. Oh yeah. We'll talk about that, Matt. Timing for Indie Heat 2. Yeah, because basically we've got a bunch of adventures that can keep being added on to Fallout. So, but by the time, if we play Fallout enough, we're gonna have enough of a viewership for Indie Heat that should be awesome. Yes. Yes, we need to get a U.S. tariff bumper with a sad trombone noises. Yes, every news time. Yeah, we should have done the prices right, kind of wah wah wah. Yes. Oh, that would be hysterical if the tariffs, take Kyle out. I think Ravensburger, I think, is owned by. I think they're in the conglomerate, aren't they? Of game studios owned by Embracer, or at least Asmodee. So we'll see. Nice. Yeah, we should do a Blades in the Dark. I was tempted to try to get us to do the Scum and Villainy version of that, but maybe just the straightforward Blades in the Dark. And now that the Deep Cuts is going to be out. So that's the funny thing. When I was reading through all the improvements, it's like I just barely know the system. So it's like, maybe that's great. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't have the big impact, and probably not looking at the details too. How it's oh, that's right. Yeah, inspired by wizardry. That's right. Oh, nice. Yeah, sorry, talking about Heroes or just Might and Magic. But yeah, and just the fact that a game publisher has to publish a statement like that and say we're preparing a lawsuit, just to slow this down, just to slow all this arbitrary nonsense down. That sucks. So we'll keep keep you updated and get a couple more runs out of that bumper at least. I think it needs more explosions and gunfire. It didn't quite feel like a trade war. It didn't have enough animation in there. Oh yeah, I just saw The Job. So Exalted Funeral is crowdfunding The Job box set, a story-driven conventional RPG about winning and losing. So it's basically a heist game. but you're stacking dice for actions, so a little bit of a dexterity thing. I really want to play a good heist game, and which Blades in the Dark probably is. And that's right, they did we didn't had the playtest materials, but we didn't run the 60s Blades in the Dark. That might almost be perfect, or kind of what I'm thinking, if as long as it doesn't have to be too groovy. Yeah, I think that's almost the sweet spot that I was thinking about. But yeah, it'd be fun to do a heist deal. But I think we're going to end up doing a heist. Yeah, spoilers, we're going to be doing a heist in Fallout, so get ready for that, all you crazy wastelanders. But that should be, pretty awesome. Oh geez, yeah, Arturo's got the yeah. So I think something's brewing, and I think Blades in the Dark is all heists, and that what was it, the 1968, or what was the Deathmatch Island guys mod of that? I can't even. It's like Blade 68 or something. That would be perfect. But we got a heist coming. I have a feeling Dylan's pushing for a casino heist, and if you played any of the DLC of New Vegas, that could be pretty fucked up. So I think we'll we'll include all of that nonsense that we can. But yeah, so yeah, with this holiday coming up, it's like everyone's got family stuff and everything, so it's going to be hard to get together. IRL. We've got it. Yeah. So the next Infinity thing is like after Golden Week, so the middle of next month. But that's not anything that goes on the channel. Just something I go on about. But yeah, got to get some more stuff going. Oh yeah, we might have our first short shortly. Matt put together a short video for the channel from our Tunnels and Trolls, so that might be a fun thing to do. And I have a really terrible idea for doing shorts that might be funny, that I want to run past Matt and see if you'd be interested in punching up the writing, because I think it's going to need to be written perfectly to work. But I think it might be a fun idea. I'll hit you up with that later. I don't want to spoil it on this stream because we'll have to play that wah sound. Nice. Oh, Fiasco, yeah. That's right. Yeah, I think they have the resources for one of the VTTs has Fiasco. Yeah, so we could run that without a GM too. That's right. Yeah, I wonder how popular an actual play of it would be. Would be fun. Would be fun, but yes. Oh no, I got a notification for Battlefield Gothic. Ooh, they did their another post about it. Oh yeah, there was something else. Somebody else. That's so weird to just get these like random notifications. And so doing things a day early means I think we miss a little bit of the news cycle, because I usually get like press releases and stuff today and tonight, before we record tomorrow. Somebody else, so Modifius, is doing the Heroes of Might and Magic. Who else? There was somebody else that just announced something that I was it didn't happen yet, so it's probably worth talking about when it happens. But who was that? Yeah, I can't remember. But there is, and we'll talk about this next week because I think I'm going to do a video for it. But there is a monthly tribe on My Mini Factory for the new War Machine. So they're starting, and they're going to sync. So the pre-order for the Gravediggers set, the faction from the bigger the bigger faction. I'm really killing it here. Where the hell is that? Yes, the the tribes. Oh, and yeah, there's a couple of interesting trials, but there's a tribe for War Machine and Hordes with the new models, and they're going to sync it with the actual releases. So there's going to be a lot of stuff offered with a free app that has all the rules, and so they're really, I mean, because they were well, just like Paizo's Pathfinder was a serious competitor once upon a time, but they were a serious competitor for a while to Warhammer. So let's 40K. So let's see what this does, if like releasing things digitally and releasing free rules will have a good effect, because it's Steamforged Games that's supporting it and doing all of the miniatures. So they're, they've got the ability to keep producing. It's not like if they, and they're not going to have the same distribution troubles that Privateer had, at once upon a time. But yeah. Oh yeah, Outgun Supers. That's right. Yeah, that was it was, I took a look at it and it was okay. It's like you're recruiting a girl Doctor Strange. So Tony Stark is recruiting a girl Doctor Strange, and then there's a fight with Ultron. It's pretty much what it felt like. So it'd be fun to try out the mechanics, but I think the fun part of that is going to be character creation. So we might wait until the full version is out, because I think us creating a super team would be the most hysterical part of it. Because it's all pre-gens for the quick start, and I think we'd have to make all the assets ourselves from the PDF. There was no way to easily play it online. Yeah, but I'll post whatever that was. There's something else that just made an announcement, another release that was coming up. But yeah, we'll see what's going on. So yeah, I've got the Into the Wild Blue Yonder, the Arnicon exclusive module. I did a flip through of that, so that's going to go tonight up on the channel, and then we'll be back with some Fallout. Find out how things go now that there's two sides gearing up to face each other down with our players stuck in the middle. But yeah, there's there is a lot of stuff, and now that we've got everybody in the group up to speed with 2D20, I really want to hit you. Maybe we can do this like more towards the end of the year, but I really want to hit you guys up with a Mutant Chronicles adventure, the first part on Luna, in Luna City, actually, for the Mutant Chronicles tabletop RPG. Might be really fun. The third edition might be fun to try, because we got 2D20. I'm not sure about the resources. I think maybe Foundry has some. Yeah, I'll have to see like who's got decent resources for that, because that's an old game now. Like that was done, been and gone by 2015. So we'll see what there is, but that'll be fun to put together too. And I've got so much stuff for Mutant Chronicles. But I think you guys, because that has pre-gens, that has a lot of pre-built characters for that first adventure, so that would be fun to see how that goes. And it's Luna City Cops, so it might be fun, and some mercenaries and stuff. Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah, I've got Longshot. It's behind the chat, but Longshot City is there too. We could try a Troika superheroes game. But yeah, I think creating characters is a huge part of the fun for superheroes. But I understand why they don't want to give away all the rules. They don't want to spoil too much. So the quick start is your typical simple adventure with the introducing the mechanics and pre-gen characters. Nice. Oh, we're getting some of that awesome Twitter spam that we love so much. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh, that's right. I gotta play around with. I think I was going to do, because when I'm talking about stuff and reading the old comments, let me see if I just do this now. I think Stream Elements actually has a better way for me to like pop up, like they have a widget type thing where I can pop up your comments on screen. So when I'm addressing something specifically, it's not going to help for the audio. So I'll still read out like who said what, because it won't help for the audio listeners. But if you're watching the stream, that might be nice to have a comment pop up on the screen. I hope you can do that with any comment and not only super chats. But yeah, I think there's some improvement to be made, because I'm scrolling through the combined chat, and you guys are still like what's showing up on the screen is still the messages. So I'll play with that. Yeah, but I think Stream Elements has some good stuff that might work better, because Streamlabs doesn't, unless you're using their whole thing, and now you have to be subscribed to it. So yeah, that's not going to happen. All right. But I like how they put a URL, a spammy URL in there, and they say, you're going to have to remove the space to visit our spammy URL. Nice. Yes, but yeah, I was really surprised. Like I mentioned during the cast, Fallout's getting a lot of views. So, and it might just be because people stumble across it thinking it's a video game stream or something. Since we're live streaming, they see Fallout, so that's what's creating views. But yeah, it's good. And while we're doing it too, we're getting a lot more concurrent viewers than our usual actual plays, and that's competing with Alien and Blade Runner. So yeah, a lot of big IPs. People love their Fallout. Oh yeah, I watched the Badlands teaser. So a Wayland Yutani synth is is on a planet. So the setting is weird. I wasn't expecting them to do that. So they're doing another planet and some more advanced technology and stuff. So after Prey, I thought we were going to get like another Napoleonic Wars, or I don't know, like when they were going to drop our Predator in. But so it's cool. Yeah, it might be interesting. I won't talk about it straight. I'll talk about it privately with Matt. But they're leaning into something with Predator that I think is kind of stupid. But it was interesting to see. Yeah, it's interesting to see them add an artificial person in there and see how that gets all mixed up. But the what's her face? The L Fanning is a synth. That was a cool reveal. That her eyes just rolled all silver white. So they gave it away in the trailer. So that's cool. Hopefully it wasn't a surprise in the actual script itself. That would be very frustrating. But yeah, that looks cool. And the thing that didn't look cool was the Tron Ares. Was it Ares? Tron. So instead of the people going into the computer, now the computer comes into the real world. It reminded me of that Adam Sandler movie, that Pixels, the Adam Sandler movie, where they're like, oh no, it's Pac-Man and Centipede and Galaga attacking New York or LA or whatever it was. That trailer looked so much like that. Like, ugh, really? Now Tron is invading. Yeah, but the Badlands looks cool, and that might even, that depending on what they do with that setting, that might be kind of a fun setting to play around with the Predator. But are they doing like teenage Predator, like adolescent Predator? What are they doing? I don't know. The only thing was the shot of the Predator. I was like, okay, what am I looking at here? Yeah, it was. I think they're getting a little silly, but yeah. But the guy that did Prey had a kind of novel approach. I think they were leaning a little heavy into it. Look how multicultural this is, because we have was it Comanche or whatever the language dub. Oh, but we're not performing it. We're going to perform it in English, but we're going to dub over it with the actors speaking the original language. It's like, okay, that was kind of a half thing. You could have done it, especially on streaming. You could have done it the other way, but they didn't. They wanted to virtue signal it, and then not. Yeah. So the Gravediggers, the Signar Gravediggers, are the first faction that that they're releasing for War Machine, and they're doing STLs for it. So it's great. I'm really curious to see if this business model works. If doing plastic and then also doing digital will keep a scene, more active and get people doing stuff. You don't have to proxy stuff if you can get everything digital. Yeah, it'll be cool to see how that goes, because people have got to figure out something, because that was a kind of realization that I had, and this is not it took me a while to figure out something pretty obvious, but Games Workshop, for 40K especially, and probably for all the other game systems or games that they do, basically, like, their business model, and it works because they're a billion-dollar company, they're doing well, and it obviously works, but they're only interested in new players. So it's like, you bought your ticket, we don't even care if you go into the movie theater kind of shit. That same thing where you invest the $1,000 or whatever to or however much you're gonna have to spend to get to 2,000 points, or whatever you think is an army you want to start playing with. You pick some faction, you go all in, and you're trying to paint it and whatever. And as soon as you get to the point where you're actually playing, then we fuck the rules, we nerf your army, we change the rules, whatever. If you can hang in there through all of the errata and FAQs and everything they're going to release for a whole edition, you're probably going to drop out when the new edition comes. But then you're going to look at that army on the shelf like 2 years later and see, oh, the new edition is coming out. Let me take a look. So they're like recycling players, because I can't imagine that very many people have hung in there through multiple versions of 40K, multiple editions, because they fuck everybody's army, unless you have the money to just like drop and do a new army every edition. And then do a new army every mid edition. If you can, like, Magic the Gathering expense wise stay afloat, just like dropping hundreds of dollars to stay, at some sort of satisfying level where you're not frustrated with what you're doing, you walk away from it. And then they'll try to pull you back in with, now they have this, or now they're doing this, or they did resculpts of this. Oh, I always liked that. Or, oh, it finally a refresh of that range. And so they're just trying to pull you in, and then fucking you, and then waiting for you to come back. And that's like, so it is always new customers, basically, even if you have experience before, because you got to buy in again, because they really make stuff on your shelf as hard to get back on the table as possible. And the order that they release the codexes and stuff in, it's just like, yeah, you're gonna get your codex at the very end of the edition, and then we're into the next one, and yeah, it's so crazy. Oh geez. So sorry, let me catch up on the chat. I was ranting and raving, but I think that's a shitty business model, because it treats the players so badly, but it does just like, squeeze every drop, every, pence, penny and pence out of you, to try to participate in that hobby, and, to make that the luxury, the, lifestyle brand hobby, to make that brand, with the kind of reputation that it has, but to just be so punishing, it's bizarre. It's just bizarre, and to have figured out how to monetize rule changes is crazy. Yeah, that'd be cool. Corporate owned undercover androids, Arturo. Yeah, that might be very. Or the friends we made along the way. The real corporate. Oh, sorry, I totally blew your joke. So Arturo said maybe the real corporate owned undercover androids were the friends we made along the way. Yes, Elle Fanning is gonna be one of those. Nice. That was a very funny line. I totally killed it. Yeah, hard pass on that Tron movie. That looks like a silly bunch of silliness. Yeah. Yeah, right. His voice cracks when he tries to growl in. I'm just a little predator. Predator babies. Yeah. Oh, I didn't see that though. So Matt said, is that rumor about Amazon giving Henry Cavill a 007 trilogy true? That would be crazy. Yeah, he's like a good age for that, isn't he? Yeah, that would be kind of cool, but it just depends. I mean, I guess the shitty head of Amazon stepped down or left or whatever, the one that killed the Conan series and did the horrible Wheel of Time and Rings of Power series. So she's gone, but there are two, like, so she wasn't replaced, so there's like two other people kind of doing her job. So hopefully they get the fuck out of the way of whatever James Bond is going to be, because that did you read any of that when the broccoli people whatever broccoli descendant that is, when they were talking about dealing with Amazon, they called Amazon like fucking idiots, like hearing the ideas that Amazon had when they were originally trying to collaborate on something. They said it was terrible. And we already got the threat of a Money Penny, mini series and a Q and a M and everybody gets their own show. That would be bad. But I would love Henry Cavill Bond. I think he could pull that off well. And he got so fucked with Superman. Like he was a great Superman, but they didn't give him any material to work with. So yeah, that'd be cool. Oh yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, he'd be the biggest Bond, wouldn't he? Because Bond does need to be a little bit, but he's going to be stuck though. It's going to be the mustache and the Justice League thing again, because they should just digitally like make him a little more, a little smarter, a little sharper, thinner body line, because he's going to have to stay bulky for 40K. He's going to be all roided out to play anything in 40K. So. Yeah, but I think just his look, I think would be a fun Bond. Not bad. I wonder, but if they're going to do the thing where it's got to be like married Bond or Bond in a committed relationship or asexual Bond or whatever, nobody wants that. I have a feeling that they don't know how to make those movies anymore, especially because if they're not going to be based on the original, pulpy kind of trashy spy novels, they're gonna feel weird, but we'll see. Yeah, I think you're right though, Matt. He does have to be a little slimmer to pull off that tuxedo or that suit line. He's gonna be the wrong shape. But yeah, I'm curious if they'll actually do that. But they're going to have him, because he's not a young guy, right? He's on his way to 50. How old is? Because they were saying, somebody said he was too old to do something. Oh no, he's only 41. So yeah, so somebody when he was turning 40 was like, well, he's a little old for that. So I was surprised about that they called him on being old. So I thought he was older than that, but yeah, because he's not graying or anything. Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, have you guys seen the the tiny role, like young, probably like 20 something, Henry Cavill has in one of the Hellraiser movies? That like surprised me out of nowhere. He's got a tiny kind of teen role in a Hellraiser. Probably one of the straight to video sequels. But yeah, he's getting to be that perfect Bond age. Oh, you started White Lotus season 3, and Schwarzenegger's son is he's quite a charmer in it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that character is such a douchebag. You'll forget about the Arnold soon enough. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, he is but the son, I forget the guy's name, the actor's name, but yeah, he's a perfect blend of Marie Shriver and Arnold. Like, he's got odd stuff from both of them. I don't know. You got to let me know, Matt, if you think the tension builds masterfully in season 3, or if it's just like get on with it, because it seemed to me like in season 2 there were a lot of other stories that were kind of happening at the same time. This seems to be like one story basically. It's not that interesting, and you're just waiting for what happens in the beginning of the first episode to happen at the end, and that's it. That's it. You don't care about anything else that's going on. So I didn't think the season 3 was great, and it also gets bogged down in the East Asian thing, I think, in a weird way. Yeah, there was some stuff that could have been, I don't know, more satisfying. There weren't as many like weird tense situations and resolutions. It was just kind of waiting waiting for stuff to happen. But Walton Goggins is awesome. I just started the of course the first episode is free, so I just watched the first episode of Justified again, and there's no way to get it in Japan except for pay-per-view on Amazon. Nobody else. The movie Primeval is on one of the streaming services here, but nothing else is. And what's weird is the same streaming service also has the Deadwood movie, but they don't have the Deadwood series. So I think they put those movies on with Japanese subtitles to kind of test how popular those. But why would you want to watch the end or something that isn't the actual show, and then determine that you want to see the show? So I don't think it worked, but I think that's what they were doing. Is just throwing them out there to see if anybody watched them, and then maybe spend the money licensing the old series. But there's a lot of stuff that's hard to get, and I don't think it ever got a physical media release. Neither Deadwood nor Justified got a physical media release in Japan. They're really bad at that, and sometimes they'll stop. I think I mentioned this before. They'll stop like mid-series, like they'll be localizing something and be like, does anybody watch this anymore? No, okay, forget it. So I think Mad Men stopped at like season 3 forever. I think it might have eventually gotten finished, but Mad Men was one of those that like Japanese people stopped watching it, so they're just like and of course like the things that were popular here, Friends and ER, the American TV shows, were super popular here, but they run so long that Japan just like lost interest. After like 3 seasons, they don't have stuff that goes that long, so people don't even know how ridiculous those shows went on. How ridiculously long those shows went on. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. Do the smart thing. Yeah, I liked the weird Italian thing, like the family try to reconnect with their ancestors, and all that stuff with the kind of the 3 generations of traveling family kept me endlessly entertained, and it was surprised. So the thing that was weirdly disappointing in season 3 is always the hotel manager has a big storyline and a big change, like a big something happens, and this one doesn't. And so don't expect it and don't wait for it, because it just ain't gonna happen, and it's really frustrating. It's really like, why did we go through all that? Very strange. But yeah. But we'll see. So what system would we, how would we play White Lotus? What system would that be? And how uncomfortable would that be? That would be kind of fun, though, to do a campaign with that tension of having an event that happens, like playing out something, and have you react to it and then say, okay, rewind, and then get to that place. I don't know how hard that would be without, it may be too railroady, but it would also be fun to try to figure out how to get to that place. Yeah, funny. Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. The one of the prostitutes was Purdy. That was season 2, right? Am I naming the wrong one? Yes. Crazy. Yeah, interesting. Cavill Bond would be a funny thing if it happens. They gotta start moving on some of this stuff. Yeah, it's just gonna be As long as he doesn't have to grow a mustache to. Oh, what was the? Was it just? Oh, I've been watching a lot of Dog Day Afternoon. I just rewatched that recently. I've been watching a lot of making of stuff. It's really interesting how a director that doesn't do improvisational stuff decided, okay, I want this to feel really real and it's really tense. And the actual story of Dog Day Afternoon was really well adapted into that screenplay. And the funny thing is, if you know the story, there was a reason why the guy wanted to rob the bank. And he didn't get the money in real life, but he sold the rights to Hollywood. They didn't pay him enough so that he didn't let them use his real name. He didn't want his real name in the movie. But he did make enough money from selling the rights of his story about robbing a bank to pay for what he wanted to pay for with the money that he was going to get from robbing the bank. So it's like, yeah, Hollywood makes all your crimes come true. All your criminal ambitions, Hollywood will bankroll. Yeah, but that's a great movie. Oh, Gumshoes. Yeah. A Gumshoe with more social roles. That would be funny to try to do that. Yeah. I don't know how many people would want to watch that experiment, but it'd be a funny thing to try. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, so more. I got a bunch of stuff that I will be unboxing. Some fun surprises too. So keep an eye on the channel. And with the holiday coming up, I'll have a lot more free time. And soon, I think I'm gonna probably by the summer, like by June, I want to try to do one more gaming live stream a week if we can fit it in, even if it's not an actual play. Do something to keep more live streams going on the channel, because I'm going to have more time during the week, so that might work out well. I figure out what that's going to be, but I'll keep you posted. And so it might be just a solo thing, or it might be just a working thing. We'll see what goes on. I'm not great at doing painting streams, although I got a lot of miniatures I need to paint. I'm not great at doing painting streams. So I don't know. We'll see. A really casual painting stream with a very small video might work. A very tiny, not very sharp video. And I'm really good at trying to paint under the camera and then like holding the model up to my face, and there's nothing on the video. It's just a picture of the table. For most of the time. Yeah, it's part of that performance thing too. I always feel like I make more mistakes when I feel an audience watching, as I'm trying to put that little highlight. Yeah, the pressure. But yeah, so come back in 2 days. Oh yeah, you could present our dead body in a flash forward. Then the game could be the characters competing to be them. That would be. Oh yeah. That Matt, that's pretty brilliant. Is to have that be who, because it's kind of like Clue. Like everybody could have a motive. Like you could suggest a motive for everybody, and to see who like really earns it. Like have like a hidden score, like have the GM just keeping track of characters, like progression towards being the actual murderer. That would be fun. And then a reveal at the end of how things played out. Yeah, hidden information would be fun. Have the viewers read the final murderers. Yes. Nice. That would be really fun. Yeah. And interactive stuff, I don't think that's been really tapped into, but that would be fun for a live stream, is to get a really good interaction, not just, give us $1 for a re-roll, or tell us who should, whatever, get the magic sword, the kind of stuff they do on live streams for charity stuff and everything that's semi-interactive. But a really like actual interactive mechanics thing would be fun. Yes, definitely. But all right, so that'll do it for this week. I'm sure we'll have more horrible news about what's happening. So I'll keep track. When Stonemaier does their update, we'll kind of follow what's going on. Sorry. Hopefully there'll be no more casualties before then. We'll see who kind of gives up or puts things on pause. A lot of Kickstarters are out there waiting to get finished, and get anybody that's going to try to fulfill this year. It's really crazy. I hope it's okay. I hope they can figure out a way to do it, and hopefully with distribution centers and stuff, they can just ship stuff to Europe and then get it into the U.S. for less than the crazy Chinese tariffs. We'll see. But thanks everybody for joining. Now Matt's cooking. Oh wait, yeah. Please send me some notes. Oh, Japanese for lotus, I think is just the flower. I'm not sure what the flower is. A couple of things are called lotus. There's foods and things that are called lotus. What is it? I don't think I've ever heard it. Do a Japanese setting. Oh yeah, it says Hasu no Hana. Hasu. Yeah, the term for lotus. But Renka, it refers to the flower specifically. Lotus flower. Yeah, there's a food. There's a Ninkon is the. I guess it's like it's like a lotus daikon. Oh, that's why it's called. Okay, so it's just the Ninkon. If you've seen it, what is that called in English? Whatever, but yeah, it's a crunchy thing that I think is called a lotus because it has little chambers in it instead of being like a solid tuber. Anyhow, but I don't think I've ever heard anybody say lotus, referring to the flower. I don't know if I don't read enough Buddhist text, I guess. All right, so but let me know. Send me some ideas, Matt. That might be fun to put something together, and I will hit you up with my stupid shorts idea. It made me laugh, but I don't know. It has to be like well executed for it to work, but it should be fun. So thank you to all the members and patrons for making this possible, and we'll do this again soon. Keep an eye out for the Arnicon exclusive module going on. Some really fun ideas in there. And we'll be back again next week. Take care. Yeah, daikon like the radish. Yeah. Yeah, so it's not a radish. The renkon is like a tuber. It's more like a fibrous deal. But I think they call it renkon because it's got chambers. It looks like a flower when you slice it this way. Yes, but talk to everybody soon. And we'll keep talking about Japanese vegetables. So take care and see you next time. Goodbye.